Right Reverend Prelate, the Bishop of Southwark, for preparing the way for some of my comments that I wish to make briefly now. Broadly to this group, which seeks to address issues around communication, language barriers and interpreters. I support the amendments that are laid before your Lordship's House in that regard. Amendments 171A and 174A, in the name of the noble Baroness Lady Nicholson, requires the provision of an advocate for women who might have additional vulnerability to coercion, especially due to cultural and religious factors. It's a very interesting and significant idea, and I think it highlights the complex factors at play in considering certain groups of people. Because, my lords, it is often those who are subject to health inequalities who hold the most distrust towards the health service, and understandably so, since we are still in the shadow, even now, of the pandemic. My noble friend Baroness Berridge has already raised the evidence given by Dr. Jamila Hussain in the earlier passage of this bill. And Dr. Hussain warned us about failing to recognise this issue of inequality. She said introducing this bill without addressing structural inequities and mistrust will likely result in widening disparities, poorer end-of-life experiences for already disadvantaged groups, and potentially inappropriate deaths. The provision for raising assisted dying with people as currently in the bill could be highly damaging to an already strained trust in the health service. Secondly, my lords, and briefly, I want to make a general point about issues of communication, language and interpreters. Again, Dr. Jamila Hussain talked about the challenges of having end-of-life conversations. She said these are nuanced, sensitive conversations. Understanding is not always straightforward. I know myself, your lords, how when I worked and lived in New Zealand, how I had to work very hard both to communicate in another language, te reo Māori, but also for my words and my thoughts to be conveyed into that language and into that cultural context. This bill assumes a sense of clear individual in fully informed choice. However, when it comes to communication, language barriers and interpretation, this is so often mediated, culturally shaped and indirect. And it seems that we are left with a very difficult decision about, are we prepared to live with the degrees of uncertainty that this then gives us, or are we going to somehow restrict access to any assisted dying service? I expect neither of these is satisfactory. So I support these amendments and I urge your lordships to consider them.